Okay, now I'm live. Can you check? Okay. Now can you hear? Now can you hear? Can you hear loud and nice? Loud and clear. ये பூமா வந்திருக்காருல்ல என்ன யூடியூப்ல இருக்கியா ஜூம்ல இருக்கியா எங்க இருக்க சரி எல்லாரும் யூடியூப்ல வாங்கோ பாய் பாய் so there are only three online camps and one we able to see இல்ல இல்ல கேளு I am exiting the Google Meet please come live on YouTube bye bye but God नहीं अच्छा कमेंट कर ले चलो ना लगभग ಎಲ್ಲರೂ kind of Indian type Indian structure type उस आने hello जरा जल्दी चलिए ये कुछ चीजें मुझे ये बात करते हैं आणि ते खूप अक्षरा निर्देश असतात मुझे kids video, so we can't comment. People, I don't know, we can hear everything you are talking about. The screen is working like a charm. Oh, that it's a kids video, so we can't comment now. You know, no other kids video. So, screen share it. Okay, should I change in Decor? The setting. Oh, you want to get a document? Me too. You don't need to type whatever you are saying. I can hear. Why is it YouTube kids together? Martha சொல்றது even நடக்குது. மாத்த பத்தி எல்லாத்தையும் போஸ்ட் பண்ணி ஒரு செட்டிங்ஸ்ல மாத்த Why do you want to change this? Can we just use the figure? Chat box went all. Shreya! ಒಂದೇ ದಿನದ ಒಂದೇ Really, but I'm not changing again. Just three of us know the chat, whatever you put in the Raj will Yeah, that's going to be okay.
நீங்க வருது ஷேர் ஆக மாட்டேங்குது. I'm not able to share the screen. What happened now?
Share screen கூட rolling பண்ணல
ஓ ஏற்கனவே ஷேர்ல தான் இருக்கோ. இல்லையே. ஓ ஷேர் பண்ண முடியல என்னன்னு தெரியல. I'm not able to share the screen.
Hey, hi. Too nice to be here. Welcome to our same block. Yes. Yes. So you can get this into full screen and
Sorry?
there's a park area here. It's like a small area. This is the swimming pool and front of the swimming pool. Yeah. Then we have this problem of cats, stray cat or pet cat, not sure. Sometimes moving over there and the entire sanitary is clean. Like we have now housekeeping team is they're kind of doing it morning and evening. But obviously you're not sure randomly it goes and the entire stand is sticky. So is there a way out? We're really not sure about it. Okay. But it's important we are not able to remove it. But they say because of that the entire stand gets very sticky and the kids obviously the dollars for you need some kind of animal repellents from what I understand. Which is children friendly. Yes, child friendly. Yeah. Even the map means of skin. Yeah. I can suggest you planting some which are kid friendly, but not animal friendly. But at the same time, I was also under the board blue crops and animal rights and animals. Even they natural, they consume it because I've seen stray dogs consuming and all that. It can become fatal. So you don't want your society to get any kind of even keeping the food products apart. We don't want to yeah so much. Right. You don't deliberately kill it, but not as in deliver this matter, not at the cost of yeah. It is fair. Absolutely. So, I mean, plants can be deterrent to us also. For example, there can be some which cause itching, and there is some which can cause allergies if you ingest. Because what is good for me might be allergic for you. Doctors are there. Exactly. It's not even grown up people. So, obviously, the immunity level is that low. Considering it's a very small patch of age group. And menace is quite there, especially when you have, strays living all over the place. So all that you could do is, get across to come. I'm told to warn you, whenever there is a lot of movement as well as, from the good blocks where the strays have been lifted. And the number of strays roaming around in all those marginally decreased. What did you understand? Maybe you can address it with the glucose. Plants per se will not help. See, the animal may also be urinating when it's moving. What wrong is they're moving only the substance of from they're not moving the dry remove the urine. That will affect the if the animal is going to be constantly being not once, not once, it's like it's one stretch of sand. I don't know why it chooses to go there. Actually, the sand is very small. Do a small kind of landscaping there, so that yes, it's actually yeah. The weddings, do an area arrangement there. If everything in the society is on one page, and that becomes because a cat comes there and sees this in the night, there is no restriction for being there. Because change. So you can plants and plants there, rocks and pebbles there, or some changes to the that should be unanimous decision which you are doing. This is something if you just when you are remove the animal doing there, and it's friendly. You could try landscaping is what it is. Maybe make a landscape that does not involve water. Again, the animals are going to get drawn towards the water, especially when it becomes rainstorm. So, the entire water so the landscape is before that, it's not happening. Before that, it's not happening. The action government will ask. Now only, maybe now only it sounds. Maybe they have it. I think because before that, three or four donors would be back. 3 or 4 would be. Lottery is yeah, but the question they are not accessible to the but if it is a stray, then it becomes community. Actually, it's more stray, correct? Strays are the people are number of strays are in that case, you must have watchman do job. No. Cats do better. That's the problem. Cats typically cats sneak right. But before the reach out coming inside. I'm not too sure how big your own wall is. Maybe you could put detergents there also. Maybe those spice they would, or they would mark markers. Can easily. We're not peeling the animal there. Yeah. Just that it gets hurt and it goes on. And it won't come back again. Because it will remember. Yeah.
If you have a lungs issue, doctors will suggest
Where
cat.
cats or dogs?
Cats in the boat. ஃபர்ஸ்ட் வந்து லங்ஸ் இஷ்யூ இருக்குன்னா வீட்டில் முதல்ல டாக்டர் வெளியில் எடுக்கணும்னா தண்ணி போக லங்க வச்சுக்கலாம் எதுக்கு எடுத்து சூஸ் பண்ணிக்கணும் தென் டாக்டர் என்னை பொறுத்த வரைக்கும் எனக்கு அட்வைஸ் பண்ணும் because அந்த the kind of dog also so dogs has the value இதுக்கு அப்படி சொல்லி ஒரு breed தலையிலிருந்து கால் அப்படி இருக்கு நமக்கு ஆரடி வராது அடுத்த ஆரடி வருது அவ்வளோ பரவாயில்ல இப்ப நிறைய கம்ப்ளைண்ட்ஸ் நிறைய வந்துட்டு
Should we start or should we wait for another?
yeah.
Usually 5 to 5. Do you have one to two or
Number of questions to ask.
oh,
I'm very strong for a five. Do you get the same goal as her, or she needs a flow? Okay, well, she's blocked to me, I'm blocked.
so you don't have long front benches, so that's okay. Front chairs rather than benches.
I still generally avoid the front also. 90% generally avoid.
No one will ask the question.
This is not a classroom.
It's just an it's always the society. Yeah, it's the here there is no AC. Here there is no AC because of that air and that's
So you all the owners or tenants or how is it? Yes. Out of 140.
yeah, 30.
But out of 140 only 50 are homeowners. I think so. You're able to see the screen or you don't have a choice, you have to come to the front. You could probably bring it closer.
Yeah, yeah.
Right here. Yeah.
5, 10, another 5 minutes. Today reminder.
Reminders, சொன்ன report எல்லாம் நினைக்கிறோம்.
We're going to say, let's super music. I mean, it's super. Start.
Yeah.
Then you can join. Okay, I guess I am pretty audible, so one doesn't need a mic. Uma's sister, Rama Dharmarajan, from the army, moved around for about 30 years now, and back to where it all began 30 years hence. So, yeah, it's been a beautiful ride around Costa nonetheless. At the same time, very enriching, very educational. You get to meet a cross section of the country, um, and has taught me immensely. If I look at myself 30 years hence, where I was from Mylapore, and coming to transform myself where I stand, the entire gratitude goes to this wonderful organization called the Indian Army. And I couldn't have asked for more. Alright, well, that's a small introduction about myself. We are blessed with two beautiful daughters. Um, the older one is a accessory designer. She is with Lenskart in Delhi. The younger one, the older one, incidentally, was a gold medalist from NIFT last year. She came out as the best student of the entire course. And the younger one is a political science graduate from Delhi Sriram College, Delhi University. If you're familiar with Delhi University, it is called DLSR, where children want to go. And she is a fellow with Teach for India, which is an NGO which grooms children from below the poverty line. I wouldn't even say poverty line, but below the poverty line. Our wage children and the workers that you see. And it is all on the house, in the sense the school, the government school looks after their education. So it was possibly a calling that she got, and she's thoroughly enjoying herself. She also graduated last year. Just finished about 1 year of fellowship with a school in Bombay, and she has another year to go. Very passionate about music, And she goes around the entire country trying her hands with the drums, the piano, and the vocals. So, my husband is a Major General from the Indian Army, and we belong to Madras, so we've come back here after walking 44 years in uniform. And, so let's see where life takes us. My first assignment is with all you beautiful people, and I get a lot of positivity from looking at all the smiling faces. Thank you very much for your time. And we start off with a small presentation. The pictures that you would see is all pictures of my own home. And this is my home incidentally. Uh, Please start. And some of it would be my clients' pictures also, wherever my husband has been posted. So they were graceful enough in sharing the pictures of how their, you call it a garden, you call it a balcony, you call it whatever. So some of the pictures of my clients. I have basically only the northern sector, all thanks to wherever my husband was posted. And it has been 5 years since that I have taken a dive into something which has been very close to my heart right from the time I was a child. So yeah, so we will be talking in terms about when you say a plant, it could mean anything. It could mean a different meaning to you. It could mean a different meaning to me. And hence we will first try to declassify what exactly this green thing is about. And so we would go about um, um, having the next one. Yeah, next one. Is this the one? Alright. Now, first of all, you need a positive outlook. Just like we all have children at home, and you need to understand that the plant is also a member of your family. Just like we have children, we have pets at home. I would say children can tend for themselves after a certain point in time, but a pet cannot. Likewise, a plant too cannot tend for itself. So the first and most important thing that we need to keep in mind is, this is my baby. You guys can I intersperse with Hindi? Is it okay, or should I stick only to the English? Alright. Okay, got you. Tamil must be fine. No Tamil? Okay, alright. Okay. So I was saying the plant is a member of your family. And it is okay to kill a plant. We're not doing it deliberately, but accidents do happen. And that should not be a deterrent. That should not be a demotivator. That should, on the contrary, give us a never say die attitude. And yes, I can do it. We don't leave our children, do we? We don't leave our children. Today, your child goes to school and he or she comes back with a sudden face and says, Mama, my day was bad. Am I going to disown my child? Nobody does that, right? The same way we are not disowning our babies. I call them my babies. I have 350 of them with me. So they all, my Sharanya and Shreya come next, but my babies come first because they can look after themselves. So you have to be passionate about the green member in your family. So first and foremost is the positive outlook. Sunlight, another key important ingredient. If it is there, it is good. If it is not there, it is very good. So sunlight, when I say is mandatory, it's not mandatory. Some of them don't like the sun. I have a friend who gets rashes. She turns pink and red because she does not like the sun. Similarly, there are a certain class of plants which do not like direct sunlight. So where you could give them artificial light, which is soothing on the plant, and the plant thrives. So Saying that yes, my plant died because there was no sunlight is a myth. So we need to burst the balloon. Number two, sunlight. Number three, the type of soil. Again, soil is not a mandatory medium for my plants to survive. You have heard of orchids. Madras is not a place for orchids, but I do see some nurseries here that have orchids. So orchids are those kinds of plants which develop aerial roots and they survive just by the oxygen which is present in the air. There are plants which survive only in water. So for me to say that yes, soil is the mandatory medium for my plants to survive is again a myth. I can get my plants to survive in an aerial medium with the support of a big tree. I'm not saying you have a magic wand and then the plant is going to survive. No, it needs a big tree from where it latches on and gets nourishment. And a plant can also survive in water. Alright. Now, coming to water, some of us are swimmers, some of us are non-swimmers, right? So if I am a non-swimmer, no matter how much I try to paddle around with my hands and legs, I am eventually going to die. I will suffocate or drown. Similarly happens to the plants. An underwater plant, a plant which is suffering in drought, you can rejuvenate. But a plant which is overwatered, I am sorry, it has to go to the trash bin. There is no way the plant can rejuvenate. You cannot. At least for us, when we drown, please come. At least for us, when we, drown, if it is the right moment, maybe we can resuscitate. First aid and those kinds of things, but there is no first aid for a plant which is overwatered. You cannot survive. Number next is grooming. Most of us are women here. I'm sure the men also must be into grooming and all that. So we all love to groom ourselves. We all love to look nice and pretty and those kinds of things. So does the plant. The more you groom the plant, the more the plant will give back to you. Just like your child. Your child has come back with a nice, happy, smiling face from school and says, "Daddy, my day was wonderful today." Don't you give the child a pat on your back and the child is so happy and so encouraged. Similar happens with the plant also. They need touch. Believe me, they need touch. Of course, there are plants which are touch me not plants. But generally, by and large, you can come to the front. You won't be able to see this if you want to. Alright, if you're happy, I'm not pushing you. Good. Please come. Number next is on fertilizing. The screen that you guys can see. Alright. Now fertilizing is just like the vitamin, mineral supplements that we have in our regular intake. So fertilizing is also another mandatory prerequisite for a plant, your plant, to look nice and healthy. Just like a malnourished child, the doctor would say, give him a vitamin supplement or give her, green leafy vegetables and protein-rich food and those kinds of things. Your plant babies also need. And there are certain do's and don'ts again when it comes to giving them these supplements. Pest control, a subject which is again very, very crucial, very important and never to be missed. So every day in the morning when you brush up your child and send him or her to school, in the same breath you must say hi to your plants also. You never know when there is an unwanted guest coming up and slowly but steadily eating away all your wonderful plants. And it is harmful for you too. Not only for the plant, some of them can cause skin rashes. Some of them can be harmful to the children. There are tiny tots at home. If you have pets at home, the pets might just eat off, not knowing what it is. So we need to be on the guard to look out when and where the pests are coming from and how we need to get rid of. Recycle, something which has been doing the rounds. Everybody is becoming environmentally conscious and those kinds of things. We are becoming plastic free and those kinds of things. So if there are any kind of those environment non-friendly items at home, which you want to eventually give it off to this newspaper fellow who comes to pick up, why not utilize that itself and grow plants? It can be a glass bottle in which you could buy anything, any groceries that you buy, maybe jam you buy, or any plastic oil cans that you buy, a rice sack that you buy, if you're into buying 5 kilos and 10 kilos of any kinds of groceries. So they can be recycled rather than sending it to the earth where it is just going to go into a dump yard. A small step into making our environment safe for our children. Sharing is caring, they say. Yeah? So if you have a plant which I don't have, and I have one which you guys don't have, there are some plants which can be shared just by cutting a twig, which I give you and you become happy because that kind of plant is not there at your residence, at your home. And there are plants which can be shared by means of propagation, which requires slightly more technical skill, but again not impossible to learn. So these are some of the key aspects which I learned, about 10, 20 years back. What all are the do's and don'ts and ifs and buts that we need to keep in mind when you want to become a plant parent. So I proudly call myself a plant parent, and I'm sure most of you are. All right. Now, the next one, types of gardens. All right. So you have your own garden, a small garden, which will contain possibly about 2 pots, 3 pots, 20 pots, 30 pots. So that is your own home garden. You will have kitchen garden where inside your own home you can sow seeds which are there available in your own masala box. So in the windowsill you could grow, which is very easy. Some mistake which my sister has been doing, constantly staring at it. Why is it not growing? Why is it not growing? Do you stare at your child and say, damn well, grow up? Today you're a baby and tomorrow I want you to become a 6-footer? This will happen. It takes 18 years for a child to be mature. The plant also takes time. But don't make the plant shy by constantly staring. Even this will sense. The plant will sense. Just like pets sense, whether I am a loving mother or I am, going to whack. Similarly, the plants also sense. So you need to be wary of what kind of kitchen garden that you want to start. As a beginner, you could start off with very minimal things, but I'll tell you subsequently. The lawns generally are in commercial spaces or in spaces where you have lucky enough to have a patch of land in your own home. Where there is something called a golf grass which is available, something called a carpet grass which is available. Again, it comes in terms of square footage. Just like we buy tiles for our houses, so these are available. But for apartments, I would not recommend lawns. You have a small balcony, you want to make it, your own oasis of a garden, definitely no, because there are a lot of teething problems. Number one, you have mosquitoes. Number two, the person staying down below will say there's seepage and my ceiling is going to. So definitely a big no for apartments, but yes, you can try it out in case you have a small office or you are lucky to have your own piece of land. Flowering plants, a plant that will mandatorily need light. Is exactly contrary what I told you some time back. Yes, plants don't need light. Some of them don't, but flowering plants definitely need light. Foliage plants do not need light. indirect light. I'm not telling you to lock them up in a dark room. No. They will not thrive when the sun is going to be scorching on their leaves. The more the indirect light, the vibrant the foliage colors. Nice pink, whichever. So, I mean, you can get vibrant colors when the plant is given indirect light. Outdoor plants, plants that by the name it suggests that yes, this plant is going to definitely need sunlight and hence outdoor. Indoor plants, especially after COVID has stopped, there are a lot of these indoor plants doing the round saying that it's good for my breathing. It cleanses the air. So these are indoor plants. Number one, they do not need direct sunlight. And number two, they cleanse the air inside. Your own masalas at home when you're cooking and all that, or the the agarbattis that you light in front of the puja. Some children might not like, elders at home might not like. So there are plants, indoor plants, which by nature are air purifiers, and they can thrive in indirect light. Succulents, something which I am scared of. Though everybody says succulents is very, very easy to grow, I've been a very bad killer. I've killed n number of succulents, but that should not deter you from not wanting to try your hand on succulents. Terrace gardens, again, if you're sitting, it is exactly the opposite of a lawn. Terrace garden is something which you can grow inside a small balcony in your own garden. You don't need a massive terrace. You will see one of my terraces subsequently. Bonsais, some people like it, some people don't like it, some people associate superstition with it. Well, it's your call whether you want a bonsai or not. Terrarium is again a medium where the plants are grown only and only in water. That is terrarium. So can we move ahead? Okay, now kitchen garden. Like for women, I think, I don't know about the men, but women, we say size matters, isn't it? Yes. All of us earn to be a size 0. Though the men earn to be a size 0. Of course, we do. So, but for the plants, size does not matter. A small batch, maybe as big as this, the plant will be very happy. You will be happy to wake up to a green patch. So size does not matter. I cannot say I have a very small balcony. I don't have the space to keep plants. It's a myth. The very first point I told you at the beginning, the positive attitude. So where there's a will, there's a way. If you really want to become a plant parent, size should not matter. What all can you grow in the kitchen garden? You can grow. If you talk in terms of fruits, yes, strawberries, anything which can climb, but this is all of research that I've done over the ages. In Madras also we can grow strawberries. Sometimes in December, November, if you give a conducive environment, strawberry can grow in a pot which is as big as this much. That's all you need for strawberries to grow. You can grow lime, you can grow mandarin. Mandarin is a Chinese orange. I don't know if you guys know about what mandarin is. They come in these small sizes. They're also called baby oranges. Very small, very thin skin. The skin is used to make pickles. And the juice of the mandarin is as tangy as the puli in your nose. So generally not edible, but yes, you can make pickles out of it. They're called Chinese oranges, mandarin, lime. These are the things as far as fruits go, which you can easily grow in your own balconies. You don't need a big yard for it. You can definitely grow strawberries, you can definitely grow lime, you can grow mandarin also. Mandarin, don't think it's an orange, I'm going to pluck it and going to eat it. I'm sorry, you can make only pickles out of it because it's all tangy. Alright, now vegetables, there are a whole lot of vegetables. You don't need to go to the sabzi mandi here. I'm sorry, the vegetable market here. You can easily grow them, pluck them, and then make your sambar or your curry or whatever it is. There is no amount of satisfaction that you get. Yes, it is my own garden which I have grown, and and sharing it with others also. How much would one eat? Minjals and ladies' fingers and green chilies and tomatoes and pumpkins and radish and carrots and potatoes and cabbages and cauliflowers, you name it, you can grow in your balcony. You don't need a big space. Alright? So, can you see? I don't know how many of you can see this. Climbers, you might need some space because a lady's finger would need to climb. A particular guy would need to climb. So don't become so ambitious saying that yes, she told me I can grow my garden, this I want to make particular guy. It might not. So you can grow chilies, you can grow spinach, you can grow green leafy vegetables, you can grow tomatoes. You just need a 12-inch pot. That's about it. Just imagine picking up into your balcony, seeing nice juicy red tomatoes in your own garden. Very much possible. You don't need big spaces for that. Next. Flowering plants, predominantly outdoors because the main reason they need sunlight. And hence, those people who have an east-facing balcony or a balcony which has enough sunlight, you can experiment with a whole range of flowers. Now, if you can see, these are all plants which grow in my own balcony. Geraniums, this is a geranium. Hibiscus, jasmine, rose, bougainvillea. I have chosen this keeping in mind the Madras weather. This is all around. They are not annuals, they are perennials. We need to say that yes, they thrive 365 days, 24/7. Bougainvillea, even if you give it stepmotherly treatment, it is going to be thriving. Bougainvillea is so forgiving. It will give you a lot of colors. Likewise with roses. There is one called as champa, which gives a nice fragrance. I see a slipper of champa plants here. That can be made at home also. It gives a beautiful fragrance. Roses, jasmine. We all like Malibu Mane. So we could do jasmine. Yeah. So there are varieties which can be grown inside our home. I can talk in terms of marigold, which is I think Samandi in Tamil, if I'm correct. That will not grow here. Unfortunately. You can try it probably in say December, Jan, when the weather is slightly okay. But all these people, I'm sure they must be getting it from Ooty and Pune and those kinds of places. At home, it is a bit ambitious. Next, terrace.
When we see on the flowers, what is the amount of light that is required for plant?
What is the amount of
Light required?
light?
Light throughout the day or not?
Some of them need. The roses do not need roses. The hibiscus, the jasmines, the bougainvilleas will thrive in 50 degrees centigrade also. The duration, we keep them there from morning till dusk. They're fine. Nothing will happen.
Because in certain houses, you get light only during certain time of the day.
Correct.
So will it be good to have those?
Yes, definitely.
So 2-3 hours light per day.
Absolutely. Yes, it's a good amount of time. It's definitely a good amount of time. 2-3 hours. Yeah.
If I want to put jasmine, if I don't have jasmine, right?
You can have grow lights. Grow lights are lights like these, white lights. Don't go for fluorescent orange lights. They don't give as much as the energy as the sun would give. The white lights would give, and they induce the chlorophyll production. It's called as grow lights. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. But the plant has to be really close, so that the heat comes and it falls on the leaf, and then the chlorophyll is produced. Not only that, but you need to constantly give them boosters, especially for jasmine. Now, what kind of boosters will you come with? Soil preparation. This is for the terrace garden. Can we move to terrace garden? Here we Only the kitchen garden.
Yeah,
Garden.
your budget is your choice. You don't show else's, why not? Why not? All that you need to do is prepare that particular patch of land so that it is terrace friendly. You don't want somebody, supposing you are in the top floor and somebody down, you don't want to fight with your neighbors and there's constantly water is dripping and those kinds of things. So you need to keep in mind certain do's and don'ts when you have a terrace. It's ideally again, not suitable for if you are there in the first floor, yes, by all means, because it's nobody visiting. Second, third floor, it can become challenging. Bonsais, something which
What I noticed about the second is that to keep the plant on a stand and ensure that the floor is dry, right? Then you still have
sure, yeah. And these days you are getting a beautiful aesthetic looking place also.
yeah,
Where you place the plant on the space.
so it really helped because I used to have this complaint because now I keep the floor completely dry because I have the plants pots on it.
Bonsai is something, like I told you earlier, a lot of superstition is attached to bonsais. And something again which, it's a personal choice. I don't like bonsais and I don't have any bonsais. For the simple reason, yes, I am not superstitious, but I don't like the main idea of cutting the main root. It is actually torture to the plant. Any kind of plant can be made into a bonsai, but apart from learning the technique, you are also stunting the growth of the plant. Stunting in the sense you're making the plant a dwarf. It looks good, but again, it's an individual taste. One man's food is another man's poison. I might not like it, but you might like it. But bonsai is again there's a huge science behind it, and you become a master of making bonsais only after years and years of killing thousands and thousands of plants. You pick up the plant from the soil, and then you remove all the soil surrounding the roots, and you cut the main root. You cut the main root, and you plant obviously in suffocation. Again, the plant you repot it, the plant thrives, it takes about a month plus, the plant thrives, and then again the plant shows signs of growing new leaves. You wait for a year so that the main taproot is grown. You pull it from the soil, again you do it. So that is how the main trunk of the bonsai plant, if you notice, is nice and thick, and the roots come out. So it's a science, and some like it, some don't. Succulent, something where we can come to anything which you want to discuss. A succulent, as the name suggests, these are water retaining plants. A plant which is soft in nature, is pulpy in nature, and a plant which is slightly tricky to grow. Somebody is, differing in my opinion possibly.
That's the most low maintenance is what.
Exactly. So succulent generally is supposed to be low maintenance, but apart from the jades, I don't know how many of you know jades. Apart from the jades, I've never been successful in growing a succulent because it is very easy for us to overwater a succulent. For all the other plants, the basic thumb rule is put your entire index finger into the soil. If the entire index finger is dry, totally dry, not a soil grain sticky, which means the soil is dry and your plant needs watering. Now this applies to all plants across all the levels, but not for succulents. So succulent, some of the tricks is you press the succulent. If the succulent comes back, which means to spring back. You have a succulent, you press it. Imagine this to be a leaf, if you press it and I remove my finger. If the depression still persists, it means that the succulent is thirsty. It wants water. So if I press it and I leave it and it comes back, it bounces back its original shape, which means it doesn't need it. So the thumb rule of putting your index finger and checking does not apply to succulents.
Jade is a very easy succulent to grow. Very, very easy succulent to grow. You might find YouTube videos where people say jade is the most toughest one. Again, it depends upon experience to experience. So in my experience, jade has been a very easy plant to grow. And you can just pinch it and propagate it. So that is as far as succulent is concerned. And yeah,
Sometimes they are then how to find out.
find out what.
Is money,
Yeah.
they don't trace it and find out.
The main stem will become dry. The main stem, where supposing you have a spindle shaped leaf, and the leaf goes and joins the main stem. Near the stem, you will find it slightly brown. Or sometimes it will be underside of that will become yellow.
I thought nothing, it is completely, but I can't make out it just, I thought, I mean, I could see that the plants are coming out by itself,
If you notice yellow patches,
become brown.
yeah, see, the brown is because there is no water. Either brown, and when you see in yellow stages itself, you understand if the plant is signaling to you that I am person. Light yellow. So yellow could mean two things. Yellow could mean lack of sunlight, and yellow could also mean that I am person. But don't let the plant become brown. So once it becomes brown, you're sure shot that there is a possibility that you might kill the plant. But there is also a possibility we can revive it. Because the plant is not drowning of water. The plant is just thirsty. Like I said earlier, a plant in drought can always be revived. So you can try reviving it. Or just pinch it, it will grow. Succulents are very easy to grow. If you can find a space where you can just hold it, just cut it. And the cut portion, poke it in the soil. It will develop roots. It's a yuck thing to. Grooming of the soil, grooming of the plants, a well-draining soil. What's the meaning of well-draining soil? When you bring a plant home from a nursery, the plant gets into shock. Something like when I shifted from, say, all my worldwide travels to here, I'm still in shock. It's been a month now. I am trying to adjust. Similarly, the plant also will go into a shock. If you notice carefully, when you get a plant from the nursery, the plant will only have fibrous stuff. Anybody who got a plant from the nursery? If you notice the plant, it will just be only the pot will be so light. It won't be heavy compared to the pots that you have at home. What's the fibrous stuff? Coconut, coconut husk. It is called as cocoa peat. Cocoa peat. Now, why do the nurseries keep the plants only in cocoa peat? Because it retains water. It retains water. And number two, it is porous also. That's why I say well draining. It's porous also. So when you bring a plant from the nursery, you bought a plant, you bring it home for 1 week, do not touch it. Just let it be. The plant will not die. After 1 week, prepare the soil. That's another science behind it. And then the soil has to be well draining. Choose the pot. These days there's a variety of pots available. Choose the pot. What kind of pot do you want? Make sure the pot has got a hole underneath. So when you get a pot, ceramic pots, the pots are already made by the potter with the hole is drilled into it. The plastic pots have a marking. You just put a hammer on there's a hole made. The other earthen pots, the potter himself is going to give you a pot which has got a hole in it. The first step that you do is put a small stone. It could be a very size depending upon how big your pot is. Your pot is this big, maybe about 6-7 inches. You put a 1-inch stone on the hole. So that when you put the potting medium, the water does not get clogged. Today you're watering it, tomorrow you're watering it, after months you're watering it, after some time the soil becomes tight. The soil becomes tight, there is accumulation of water, there is no scope for excess water to go. So the pot has to be having a drainage hole. So well nourished soil it has to do. So 50% it is soil. The other 50% consists of things like cocopeat, things like other nutrients which I spoke about. You understand bone meal? No? Then if you go to a nursery, they'll give you 20% of bone meal you'll have to put, 20% of the powder you'll have to put, and then they make the entire mixture 100% and then flowers. But when you repot, make sure a little bit of the cocoa peat is intact with the roots itself. Otherwise, a new environment, you will kill the plant. So, having a well draining soil is crucial. Water only when the soil is dry to touch. Just not touching it superficially like this one. At least 3-4 inches into the soil. This does not apply to succulents, by the way. This applies to all plants. 3-4 inches. When your finger is absolutely dry, only then you want. Otherwise, you don't want. Direct, indirect, or filtered light. Some plants would need, some plants would not need. Foliage plants, by and large, will not need. Flowering plants would need. But again, don't crib about saying that, I don't get sun at least for 5-6 hours. You don't need 5-6 hours. Maximum couple of hours is good enough for the plants to prepare its own food and it will thrive, even flowering plants. Pinching. Like my mother used to say, Tatti pani jal patte pani in Tamil. Which means the more she used to trim my hair, the longer and bushier my hair used to be. The same applies to the plants also. When you find a bee on the plant, just below the bee there will be a node. Node is a joint. So below the bee there will be a node. Just above the node and below the bee. Above the node and below the bee. You pinch it. And not straight but horizontal, at an angle. Why not straight? Because more of the surface area is getting exposed to the sun. Hence, slant. Cut it at an angle so that direct sunlight is not falling. Again, when you, not at 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock in the morning, it's nice and hot. Don't do it. First thing in the morning at dawn or at dusk when the sun goes down. So the more you pinch, the more bushier. So pruning is very crucial. Not like at her place she's got a hibiscus, just going straight. And I told her it's high time that you prune it. And the moment you prune, from where you cut it, below that you will find side branches. Sorry? Correct. So below the V and above the node. Say for example, this is a stem and this is a node. So I am cutting this. Correct. Right. That's why it's above the node. Monitor humidity. How does one do that? How does one monitor? Of course, in Madras there is no dearth of humidity. There is humidity all across. And no wonder we have foliage plants thriving by the dozens. But how does one monitor? There are humidity indexes, like somebody asked me about grow lights. Yeah. Similarly, you have humidity monitors. It's like a small thermometer that you poke it in the soil or you just clamp it on the wall and it will tell you, depending upon that particular day's weather, whether you actually are, lacking humidity or not. Supposing the plant is lacking humidity, what will I do? I can't get the rains to come. What will I do? Spray water. And then, supposing the plant is overwatered, already watered. Is the water not going to drain into the thing if I spray water? How will I enhance humidity?
Water.
Sorry?
It's a water. Yeah.
Exactly. You have to keep pots. Pots which don't have holes. Pots filled with water and put pebbles. Like the crow story we learned in the ocean. The crow was putting this, each pebble and the water came out. So that is how the water will rise up. Some people also have the habit of putting cloth, wet cloth, which for me does not appeal because it looks messy. And you are covering your plants. And just like we have close friends, plants also like friends. You all cluster them all up together. So I share my humidity with them. So they like to be close proximity. So you put a bowl of water, put some pebbles, and you also can cluster them all up together. Two ways. Or if you're really into serious gardening, put a humidity on it. Fertile, yeah. You're happy and lucky?
Absolutely. The soil also gets worse and green and white. So don't you cut your nails? Don't you trim your hair? I know that removing of soil every day. Still,
You're probably overworking. Give it 1 week's time. The soil has to come. Sorry?
it has white.
It's probably a long while since you repotted your plant.
Is it? I don't know. Asking I also don't know the reason.
No.
So,
Since
so
your plant,
this is
I'm talking about how
yes.
old your plant is. If your plant, the pot, the soil which is not changed, you have to change. You have to change at least once in a year.
It was not long. It was new. Still got white.
New as in,
Maybe a few days. Just few days. My
the
brother
potting
was
soil is not good.
yeah, he told that it must be white from the soil.
The potting soil is not good. From wherever you got it, they didn't give it very neatly. There could be multiple reasons. But if it is really wet, that is also a red carpet invitation for more of these fungus and bacteria to be. So try changing the soil. I've not seen your plants. If I see it, I can stop because I have this soon.
It is strong.
So I think my entire talk is getting defeated now. I'm not able to motivate you guys to tell you yes, you need to be positive.
Don't start again.
Would you disown your child?
That's what I came to.
You should have to never say that. Even today I think not.
How do we change this one? Because, for example, I have gastronomy. How do I change it? If I change this not again,
You have to first prepare the medium. How old is the jasmine plant? You need to check that first. How long has been sitting in the same pot?
2 years.
2 years. And how big is the pot? 10 inches, 12 inches? You say? So I mean, if the pot is good, the soil is good enough, you don't need to repot it. If you don't see roots from under the base, from where the hole is, then it is good to go for another year. You don't need to repot it. All you have to do is take a couple of inches of soil out, discard it, and put fresh soil and mix it up. Fresh soil again, I guess 100%, 50% is garden soil. The other 50% is broken down into 40, 20, 20, 10. 20 is your fertilizer, bone meal, and decomposed. The 10 is coconut. That is when it becomes, a drainage soil. So you don't need to always 2 years and the roots are not coming from under the hole. It is still fine. I think the plant will survive for another year or so. But at least couple of inches, maybe this much of soil, remove it, discard it, prepare fresh soil and put it and then mix it. And make sure you water. So when you water after repotting, water has to drain through completely. You just cannot say I put in a mug of water and then it is good. You never know it does not reach the bottom. Till the time it reaches the bottom and the water drains onto the floor, you should not stop watering. You must go. You will not feel it. Compost pit at home. Various kinds of exotic gadgets are available these days in Amazon where you have another pot, one on top, just like a coffee percolator. There is one and then another one on top, and your own everyday base you can. And the good part is it does not smell. We might think it smells, it does not smell. Earthen pot and another earthen pot on top. You keep mixing it, and it takes about 45 days for you to have your own compost. It's a small, not so ugly looking thing which you can always keep in the in your bathroom. So your compost you can recycle it. Instead of putting all your kitchen waste into the bin, you can compost it. Keeping an eye for unwanted pests is again very crucial. If you don't want to do it every day, it's still fine. At least once in 2 3 days, make sure you turn the underside of the leaf and see. It's very, very crucial. Underside, it's very important. Now, how do I prevent it from these unwanted guests from constantly coming and going? See, there is something called the neem oil solution which is available. It's a concentrate. Too much of neem oil will just burn your plant. I have burnt many. They just turn into ashes in no time. So it's very crucial that you constantly keep a track. If it's a 1 liter Pepsi bottle, just put a few drops with an ink filler or an injection syringe. Just a few drops in 1 liter of Pepsi bottle. That's all it needs. It's highly concentrated. Don't put neem oil and then later on curse me. No. You need to know how much of neem oil to put. And when you spray, spray from a distance. Don't spray it so close. Spray it from a distance. Leave the plant. Check the plant again for infestation maybe the next day because it's going to be poisonous for you also. You don't want to catch that smell. Pruning and repotting. Pruning is as similar as cutting is what I told you. Cross cut above the root and we will. Repotting as and when you see the roots from under the pot. Not at your own whims and fancies. As and when you see roots from under the pot is when you repot. So before repotting, make sure you have a new pot ready and make sure you have a proper well-drained soil ready. It's not that you pull the plant out, you have to go into the market to shop. Plant will be there. So do your homework first and then do the repotting. Fertilizers. Two types, basic science. One is organic, one is inorganic. Inorganic is what? It's all chemicals. The basic important thing that sodium, potassium, and phosphorus that your soil needs, the plant needs, which is available by the name of NPK in the market, which is a chemical which one does not want to use. Commercially, people use, but for home gardening, try and refrain from using chemical fertilizers. The most important ingredient, sodium, potassium, phosphorus, available as NPK at different ratios. It's 18, 18, 18, which means 18% of all the three minerals. Sometimes it's 20, sometimes it's 19. You don't want to go to sciences, just simple. You go your own kitchen waste, the cow compost, or the bone meal. The mustard cakes are very good. These are all organic fertilizers. Bone meal, mustard cakes, cocoa peat, and cow compost. These are all organic, which you can use once in 14 days, not regularly. You don't want to, bombard your plant with too much. Don't imagine that tomorrow is going to become a big tree. So 14 days is a good time.
So for the fertilizing, we can go later.
No, no, you cannot do that. Yeah, just a pinch. These are all very strong together. Slow release granules are also available. There are sticks available which are growth hormone sticks. Say for example, you are too lazy. It's called also for lazy gardener. There are big sticks available. You just have to poke it in. It releases. What's the name?
So for the as a regular morning,
Immunization is touching the leaf. Should not.
so how do you water
When the soil, when the water is not fertilizer, you never spray on the plants. So you put the water directly onto the soil. But there are some magic ingredients like the Eno at home. fruit salt at home. So that one is a magic ingredient for leaves to grow nice and big, especially for multi-plants or compost or those kinds of things. So again, 1 liter of water, one sachet of fruit salt. Mix it up well. You spray on the leaf. No, will not. I don't know what the thing is on. Yeah. No. Did you do regular watering without any fertilizers? East facing money plants don't like direction. Early morning you can do before the sun rises. There's no harm. 6:30 is late. Before the sun rises. By a personal choice and never water the plants in the morning. Never. Never. After 6, no matter wherever we will post it, after 6 in the evening is when I always water. The simple plain reason that when you put, say for example, the soil around the swimming pool, at around say 10, 11 in the morning, is the soil not moist around the swimming pool? This is the beach soil, they say for example, the beach. Is it not moist? Do you know what petrichor is? One pass in April, total. And you have a few drops of the rain coming. And immediately don't you feel the heat? When there's few drops, don't you feel the heat? The same happens to your food. 6:30, 6 o'clock is not a good time in the morning. Absolutely. Any time after the sun goes down, from the trust and definitely say anything after 6, not even like that. So this is just a bit of our own terrace garden. Yeah, so I don't know how informative my session was. And if there are any questions that you want me to answer, if I am knowledgeable, I would be very too happy. Anything?
Okay, we help you to rearrange your garden.
Okay?
Helpful will be a large enough reasonable.
I would have to see the place. I'll have to see the place and then I'll have to tell you. So, I mean, whenever it suits you, I can come and have a look. And, and depending upon what kind of space do you have and what is your interest, do you want flowering plants, do you want kitchen garden, or do you want foliage?
We have shops and we have helping people are pretty much every 20.
Yeah. So, I am trying to establish myself here in the house. So, all my help is there at once. So, I am trying to spread out my business here. So, if you are wanting your garden to be spruced up, I can have a look at it and we can take it forward. Sorry? Uh-huh.
After it sprouts, probably after you choose very water. Even if it's spray,
This is not the right time because you are actually getting into summer, aren't you? The soil was frozen, probably raining soil. Maybe you water this. It's so thin.
it's delicate.
No, we have to use a sieve. We cannot use a spray. We have to, in fact, when I plant kitchen garden and I take water with this. And from the holes in my fingers, it's all the water goes. You cannot use a spray. Spray is very hard. You just bend and goes in. Just take it in your hand. And when it's at least maybe an inch and a half, pinch off the tip. And that's an excellent source of protein again. So you can use it in everyday cooking, the sambar, the roti, or the curry, the salads. Just to pinch. The more you pinch it, the denser it will.
I'm sorry, what's it?
Please, please.
Whenever I buy mint, yeah, pudina. So how do we do that? The right plant in Mysore, the right plant, what's the yeah, I'm so bought it for 3 days, 2 days, wrapped the veg chocolate
You are anxious, not parents.
It's like
You are anxious, something like what I keep telling them also. Don't keep staring at it. But you are very anxious, not parents. Let it be. Let it be.
and you say, and what I do is like when you get it from outside, I cut it from the bottom in the slant position and keep it in water. I will take off some green leaves and at the top I will let them and I will keep it in water to wait for the roots to grow. So sometimes it happens that it doesn't grow at all and the stick dries up. Sometimes the roots will grow, but when we take them and put it back in soil, after that it will
See, these mistakes even I have done. Shrug off that negative vibe of village communism. You need to be positive. There are no two ways about it. You have to be positive, and you have to have a green thumb. You have to have a green thumb. You cannot say, I have killed zillions of them. But you need to have a positive outlook. To say that yes, this time I am going to plant and it is going to thrive. Don't plant by having a fear in your head. And it might sound funny, but yes, you are transmitting a negative vibe. It might sound funny. My daughters even today they tease me. I go and touch them and I pat them and I say good night. They are not doing it. Of course they're not. And if you see them why they are thriving is because of the kind of unconditional love that you give them. I might sound crazy.
no, I do.
Yeah, that's why we don't know. How many of you have plants at home? 1, 2, 3. One. Which one do we have?
Not one like
Oh, good.
I started like I'm Leo plants and after when it came, I just put the juice back. Kept the stand and kept easy. I kept mother plant, then I kept those even tops. And same plant, all this stuff like 5, 6 percent. Now sometimes yeah, suddenly 9, we get 9. Maybe I'm just saying,
You can put that mix, green mix.
now the summer was a kind of thing. Now we get less like this. We get
See, sometimes it's not population. Pollination, where only female has stable access. It's not how it gets in the field.
feel around.
Taking a dust and come to the other leaf, from one leaf to another leaf. And then they will learn or or if you have say on plants which have flowers, rose, and that is they have the attraction. If you that it automatically becomes a pollen.
Because green plants are very dry, downstairs in there, and green plants.
Pollination is not happening.
It's
You can do it easily. I have two watermelons by artificially pollinated with the paintbrush and my chocolate. Just pick up the pollen dust and put on another thing and all. There is small bulb size. That is just small bulb. Accidentally, just people don't you don't need to put the size of it, you know. Just say people and put, some might follow it, some might not follow it. Eventually, you will learn. Okay, we can tell you, why this is not something that so, I mean, the more experiments you do, the more the knowledge. And don't give up.
Then they stop
Grows. It could probably be from the root. So you have to count in each stalk the rows should not have more than 5 rows. If it has more than 5, 6, 7, beyond that, which means that it is a wild plant. It will not bear flowers anymore. See, this is the main plant. They have grafted it. So what you see below is where the graft has happened. So the extra shoots should come from above the soil, not from below the soil. If you have branches coming from below the soil, and it invariably will have 6 or 7 leaves in each stalk. It could very well be turning into a wild plant. It is turning in one way. It might not. It might not. You may want to count the number of leaves and see. It should be either 5 or below 5. If it is more than 5, 6, 7, be rest assured there will be more leaves. If you still want, how old is the plant, you say?
just too much that it's happening every time. They get all the plan.
Try potash. Try potash. Potash is another for flowering plants and definitely advocate chemical fertilizers. You can try potash. It comes in small granules. And if you want to suppose say this big, couple of granules 2 inches away from this main stem. And then the soil. Potash helps in enhancing blooms. So you can try.
Swiss cheese.
Which one?
Swiss cheese. Monster. Broken pasture airport. It's a very good plant. I got so many leaves and branches. They overwatered it once. It started very young. They put it to back. Almost like got the achievement of it. After I put it to back, there was a new step which you do. And then a lot of like properties and is there any possibility?
It is overwatered very unlikely. See, you cannot standardize and say once a week.
We have to discuss.
You have to test it. You cannot standardize and say, you don't know, like 60 degrees outside. You have to water every day. As you progress into summer, say in May, June, July, You know, so mummy can not do chocolate. You have to order it and only yes. And only so they got it like 4 species. It started with the first thing I did say how do I put it? Because in every no, Mozzarella is something like a pothos. So if you have a big stem, take as big stem that you want. That's what you want. That's because you want to. So keep a couple of pinches into the soil to really that. Let it have pinch those ends. No, it won't. Say for example, with this big. So 3 inches just leave the soil with some leaves so that it will outside a few more branches. The others you can cut it T shape. Yeah. So each between each leaf you will find new something. Yeah. So you can chop the leaf off, shoot on top, chop the leaf off down. So left only will get you safe. Yeah. Poke that into the soil. Yeah. No. You can actually. So sacred yeah, but it's the peace. And if you really are sure and nervous and all that, leave one small leaf. That way the plant will not be able to take food. See, we can just have only say, and then where is the coming mentioned from? The idea is just to keep it. Even now, the leaves are only few leaves are stop being anxious. Change your mentality. It's very crucial. It's very crucial. I might sound funny, but I'm talking with experience. Don't be anxious and subconsciously, consciously, it's you possible. There are no two ways about it. And if it just breaks a one single stem, you have to cut it. Okay. Even if you don't get the other cuttings to grow into very large, rest assured the main plant will use like this. It's very good.
Yeah, but sorry, these two brochures I will probably share. Then she also does a lot of interior design apart from maybe we not talk about that last 1 minute. She does that apart from gardening. It's called Decor Bloom that she runs as a company. She's done a lot of work in the north. She's been predominantly there that side with the army. So I'll share both the brochures. Anybody who wants any service in gardening, or even I was thinking we should do a terrace garden with her, consultant, do a terrace garden in her block.
We also there like a lot of plants are either not thriving or they are attractive necessary. And actually use waste modulation.
That's something that leave it to the association to decide. There are, she is willing to do the entire landscape for the community. And also a beautiful terrace garden in each block where we could have grow a lot more with a lot of aesthetics around it. She's got
When you have terrace gardens, you will invite bees, and hence your kitchen garden will flourish. So just don't stick only to your foliage plants. So if you want bees to come, have flowering plants, and when you have flowering plants, it's a chain. So you'll have the kitchen garden also.
So if you're renovating your house for interior design as well, she's a go-to person. She's done a lot of work on interior design plus. So I'll share that information. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your time. Thank you for your time. And happy gardening and be proud, plant parents. Thank you for asking all the She's a dentist, she's actually a doctor. You are எனக்கு எப்படி ஹெல்ப் பண்ணணும்னா நிறைய ஒரு செலக்ட் இருக்கேன். என்னோட வெனக்கால நல்லா மண்ணில் ஒன்று இல்லையோ
They try not to become tired because not that coordination.